we have with us Union Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri to talk to us about elections and much more. Welcome to The Print, sir.
Thank you, Mosami. Thank you for having me on your medium.
Sir, there is this talk of dip in the voters' turnout in this election, and which has led to an impression that, there is a lack of enthusiasm on the part of voters to come out. How do you see this?
Well, I've also seen this talk, and I must confess, I'm finding it very difficult to understand where this talk is coming from. I know where it is coming from. I know the people who spread this false narrative. I think it borders on a canard, where they say, voter turnout is dipping, voter turnout is poor, the electorate is not interested in coming out to vote. This reminds me of several things I've learned over a 55 year stint in public life, is that many people sometimes who are delusional and motivated, they tend to make statements and in the hope that some of it will stick. Let me give you the basic hard facts on voter turnout. I've lived for many years in the United States, United Kingdom, Europe, etc. So I know what voter turnouts are. India is not only the world's largest democracy, in many ways it is the mother of democracy, but anyways it's one of the most fascinating cases of citizen participation in a democracy. Let me share with you some basic facts. In the 2019 elections, the number of registered voters was 89.6 crores. 89.6 crores, less than 90 crores. In the 2024 election, the registered voters are 97.88 crores. In other words, the total number of voters has gone up from just less than 90 crores to 98 crores. That means 8 crore additional voters. Now, when you talk about turnout, turnout has several aspects to it. But if you look at the overall, now it turns out there is no shortfall. Even in constituencies where there were 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs additional voters. Look, there are 545 constituencies, okay, Lok Sabha constituencies. And there's an increase in number of voters, as I said, from 90 crores to 98 crores. 8 crore additional voters. Divide 8 crores by 545. How much does that become? Average. I mean, I'm saying some constituencies are larger, but if you divide 545 by 8 crore, 1.5. So I was using the figure 1, but on an average 1.5 lakhs voter, and still the voter turnout is not less, it is equal and rising. The dip, for instance, the dip which took place, I can tell you, in the first phase there was a slight dip. Second phase, again the dip is smaller. Third and fourth phase, the dip is not there. In other words, if there was a slight decline, that's evened out and it's increasing. So in other words, we are staring at a situation absolutely clearly where in spite of 8 crore additional voters, the voter turnout percentage is also increasing. So I think many people who try to spread that canard need to do some serious introspection, because it's not true. Now, voter turnout in and of itself doesn't tell you anything. Sometimes a high voter turnout means there are people wanting change. But this is a classic case in the other way around. Here you are finding very good turnout in BJP controlled areas. All right, you make allowances for 42 degrees and you make allowances that. So my conclusion on the basis of my study, granular study of voter absolute figures, percentage turnout, is that the BJP is set to record a record victory by itself also. What we do with the allies and those who support us is separate. And I keep saying that we had 303 in the last Lok Sabha. At least a 10% increase would be 333, 15% increase would be 345.
So how do you see this PM's 400 par, BJP's 400 par slogan
It's a whenever anybody says is bar 400 par, it's a sentiment, but it's a sentiment which is very easy to understand. If we get 303 plus 10% or 303 plus 15%, that takes you to 330 or 345. And add to that what the NDA allies will give you. And I was when the present at the PM's filing of nomination papers. We've got what 27 allies, etc. 27. We had 27 people in the room making rounds for. We've got what 23 allies. We need to correct that. Find out. Now, if 20 each one of them, some will get 2 votes, some will get 3 votes. But even if they get an average of 2 each, that makes it 46 seats more. I'm not going by that. I'm just understanding statistics. So if we get 230 or 245 and our allies get 40, 50, even that takes you to 400.
And after the fourth phase, sir, how do you see?
No, you see the point after the fourth phase is 5th, 6th, 7th. Our strike rate in the last election was 80% there. So here, if you have a strike rate of 80%, you can't do very much more than that. So I think it will be very good, but we are now surely heading in that direction. Yeah.
So coming back to Delhi, Aam Aadmi Party chief and Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal was released on bail some time back. And Aam Aadmi Party across the country, I mean, AAP is contesting just about 2 dozen seats. But if you see, BJP has been spending disproportionate amount of time criticizing him. Why is Kejriwal so relevant?
No, we are not criticizing him because of any apprehension in our mind. The number of seats you contest is also not an issue. Because after all, how many seats totally is TMC contesting? And how many seats is X contesting or Y contesting? Kejriwal is a sui generis case. He inserted himself into the national political scene as a political startup. Okay, that political startup started in Ramlila grounds in 2013. What did he say then? He said, I am against corruption. I am joining Anna Hazareji's movement to rid the country of corruption. And in 2000, and who was in office then? The Congress. By the time you reach 2024, he's participating in the same Ramlila ground. And उस समय वो हाथ नहीं मिला, गले लग गया with the corrupt people. Now, I am against political parties. I will never form a political party. This man is on record. मैं बच्चों की कसम खाता हूँ. बच्चों की कसम खाता हूँ. Now, this is a very serious. बच्चों की कसम खाता हूँ. मैं राजनीतिक दल नहीं बनाऊंगा, राजनीति नहीं करूंगा. This is a clip. I think we have the clip also. We played it. So, बच्चों की कसम खाने के बाद, when he breaks बच्चों की कसम, when he forms a political party, मैं आम आदमी हूँ, मैं वैगन आर की फ्रंट सीट में बैठूंगा, मैं मफलर पहनूंगा, जब मैं मंत्री बनूंगा तो मेरी गाड़ी के ऊपर लाल बत्ती नहीं होगी. And then he ends up in Sheesh Mahal. And then हम शराब के खिलाफ हैं. And then during the Sharab Ghotala, which is now well documented, they have opened liquor vends, Mausami, outside schools, outside mandirs, outside gurudwaras. Then when he gets caught, he says that gentleman Vijay Nair did not report to me. He used to report to Atishi or Saurabh Bharadwaj. Lied there again. Then he was caught literally by the Delhi High Court, and the Judge Sahiba said, we are not talking about you as an individual. We are not talking about you as a CM. We are talking about you as a convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, in which capacity you actively sought and received kickbacks, and those proceeds of crime then found their way into the Goa election. So a lot of people said, oh, the Supreme Court has allowed him to come out. But they've allowed him to come out on interim bail. After serving 50 months in jail, he's out for 21 days, out of which 4 days away. Everybody said then, now this will give a big boost to the Aam Aadmi Party. That's the underlying sentiment I see in any member of the press. Sir, I predicted when he came out, iski gas 48 घंटे में निकल जाएगी. And this Swati Maliwal incident has not taken him back to square one. It minus 10. His position today is minus 10 to what it was. Delhi, 7 seats, he will not get a single seat. And where is he contesting other seats? Punjab, there are only 13 seats. So there, it's 13 plus 7 is 20. So 2 doesn't kahan se. I don't know where else he's contesting 4 seats. But let me tell you, Kejriwal has been caught out as a person who falsifies facts. That's a polite way of saying he lies through his teeth. What happened with Swati Maliwal is not just a Kejriwal factor. It's a very serious factor. 50% of India's electorate is women. And here is not just any woman. In the official residence of the Chief Minister, this lady who happens to be the former chairman of the Delhi Commission for Women, who's now a Rajya Sabha MP, is not just, first statement by Sanjay Singh was, Bibha misbehaved with her. This is not misbehavior. She has been slapped 6 or 7 times according to her own admission, kicked in the chest, in the lower parts of the body. She's gone for a 4.5 hours. This is a case of physical assault. And Mr. Kejriwal, when asked, he said there are other important issues. I mean, your own colleague, a member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha gets beaten up and you're saying there are more other important. So I think this man is at the end. He has got now facing an existential crisis. You can record the time of my interview with you and the date when you play it. You can record it. And when the results come on 4th June, the results will reflect that.
Sir, Delhi is a classic case where, BJP has won all the parliament seat, all the 7 seats BJP has won over the years. But when it comes to the assembly election, when it comes to the state, what is it that's,
No, in an electoral process, you can never decide why a particular voter. You may vote one way in an assembly and another way in parliament. You may do that. But I think there are very good reasons why this has happened in Delhi. The reasons are that the local interface, he goes around spreading absolute lies. This is what I call the Rewdi politics. What, for instance? It is a model. I'll just give you a model. हम 300 unit bijli mufat kar denge. People get appealed to that. But now what we are saying is, we'll give you a subsidy. You take that subsidy, install solar panels on your roof. With those solar panels, you can produce electricity. 300 units for free you keep for your house. Remaining, you set up a, an electric vehicle charging station. And anything left after that, you give us in the grid and we pay you for it. Now, these are two contrasting models of development. Delhi today, Mausami, has a ridership in the metro, in the Delhi capital region of something like 70 lakhs per day. 70 lakhs a day. This guy doesn't want it. When it came for him to give his share of the RRTS, he wasn't. Supreme Court had to direct him to do it. So, his politics is, now he goes to the clusters and he says ki aap mere ko vote de do nahi to mere ko fir jail mein dal denge, which I think is touching that fine line. So, but more than that, he also says agar main jail diyega to aapko free ration band ho jayega. Are free ration 3 din ka 3 samay ka to Modi ji de rahe hain. That's part of the 80 crore people that Modi ji is feeding. The real problem at Delhi is that Mr. Kejriwal is not allowed to is not allowing the schemes to be implemented. For instance, he had this great system of mohalla clinics. What happened? When the pandemic came, all these mohalla clinics which were manned by compounders in cow sheds, they just disappeared. They were not of any help. So, the health system failed. He not set up a single new school. But more serious than that, is that he has not applied the Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat scheme, according to which every family gets 5 lakhs in a year for medical treatment, diagnosis, surgery, post-surgery care. He's just not applied it here. So people have cards, which are all India cards. You can be a resident of Himachal and you can get the treatment anywhere in India. But if you're a citizen of Delhi, you don't get a card. How can that be?
So now let's go to Punjab. So Punjab BJP is going solo. How do you see the BJP's prospects vis-a-vis AAP in Punjab?
Well, let me first of all tell you, BJP going solo is something I have advocated all my life. Not only in 2014, because I fundamentally think that in any serious political situation, if you become a member of a Gathbandhan or a partnership and you're a junior partner, then you lose your identity. That was the case in Punjab till now. There are 13 Lok Sabha seats and there are 117 assembly seats. So we were never contesting more than 3 out of 13. And we were never contesting more than 22 or 23 out of 117. So we were at a disadvantage. The Akali Dal administration was a highly corrupt administration, both in terms of drugs and all kinds of misgovernance. And we were junior partners. So as I keep saying in Hindi, hamari chavi bhi kharab hui. There was a reputational downside to it. Now, we did not break the alliance. The Akalis broke the alliance. We were uneasy with it. There are parts of our system which in the BJP they think, yeah, ultimately it's good, keep them here because then otherwise they will become very, extreme in their views. So I said, no, they take advantage of their alliance with you and keep periodically blackmailing us. No, otherwise we will become extreme. And these are semi-literate politicians. Sardar Prakash Singh Badal was a very towering, tall leader with broad shoulders. Even PM Saab used to, seek his blessing. But the next generation is just not there. And if you look at their views on issues pertaining to governance, you know that. So the Akali Dal is in terminal decline. But that's not the issue. They broke the alliance. Okay, when you're in an uneasy marriage, sometimes you're hesitant to break the arrangement. But I'm a member of the cabinet. I was there when the farm laws were discussed. She praised the farm laws, Harsimrat ji. She was very happy about them. In first 2 or 3 days after they praised them, then they saw that the ground situation was turning in a different way. If you were good political leaders, you would go to the people and explain this is in your favor. But in any case, they decided to break the alliance and we haven't regretted it. This time they were very keen on an alliance. They would call and say, all right, numbers. No, we were not averse to an alliance. But we are a pan-India party. We have 303 in parliament. You want an alliance with us, it has to be on our terms. We were very clear. And he used to, call people randomly, nobody's talking. Not the kind of stuff you were talking itself didn't make for, an alliance. So I am very relieved that we are fighting on our own. I am also greatly relieved that the party is registering a presence and I'm going to make a prediction. Earlier we had only 2 seats in parliament. We'll have at least 2 or 3 times that now.
In Punjab?
In Punjab, yes.
So that's going to be a record.
No, out of 13 we'll get at least 5 or 6. Apart from getting Chandigarh, yeah.
So you are also the Housing and Urban Affairs Minister. You took over in 2017 and you've kind of set the ball rolling when it comes to how India needs to urbanize. So what, according to you, should be the urbanization roadmap for the country, for the government in the next 100 days?
No. 100 days projects are already being worked out for all the ministries. I can't share those with you because we already worked out. Cabinet Secretary is taking in a coordination meeting. PM had already now. This is a government which has been in office for 10 years. When it gets re-elected, please mark my words. I am not saying if it gets re-elected. I'm saying when it gets re-elected and the results come, we will hit the ground running with those 100 days projects. It's very clear. We have now, thanks to the Prime Minister's bold vision, we have embraced urbanization as an opportunity. Earlier, the West used to call us reluctant urbanizers, so and so. But today, if you look at the rate of urbanization, we will be 30% urban by now, whenever the census comes, we'll be 40% urban by 2030 and maybe 50% urban. Now, that's a hell of a lot of urbanization, urban voters, because if you have a population of 1.4 billion and say 600 million live in urban spaces, going up to 700 million or so. So, I think we have done the first stage of urban reforms, which started with Swachhta, Amrut, all our flagships, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, a part of Swachhta. I mean, building 11, 12 crore toilets, 4 crore Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which includes the rural, another 3 crores coming. Setting up the world's second largest metro system. It's now today 945 kilometers. Very soon it's going to be bigger than the United States, which has 1566. Amrut and Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 have a collective financial provisioning of 4,71,000 crores. So now we have to take it where some of the jugaad in our cities has to end. I mean, you can have all the best policies, but if there is a contractor who's unethical and he puts up a big hoarding illegally, you can send him notice. One of these days, the hoarding will come down. But I think there's greater urban consciousness which is taking. But please note, madam, land is a state subject. The center can devise a scheme. Now, we have been able to, through central intervention, by providing money, we have been able to take charge and rationalize that. Otherwise, every state would be on its own trip because land is a state subject.
So, since you brought this up, it's not your domain exactly. What happened in Mumbai, for instance, that billboard that collapsed and killing 14 people? How do you
16 now.
Oh, it has gone.
One death is one death too many.
So, how do you see this as in this lack of respect for human life?
No, it is more than that. It is complete callousness. But the point is, this is unethical behavior by some individual. This has got nothing to do with government policy. So, you have to take the strongest action against people.
Municipal bodies are there.
No, municipal bodies are there, but when even a municipal body can only frame policies. A municipal body, I mean, if you go and commit an act which is borders on the irresponsible, what will laws do there?
So, in Delhi, how do you see this AAP-Congress alliance that they have got into? I mean, is it going to change?
It's collapsed already. It has collapsed. The fact that the Congress president of Delhi had to leave the Congress party because he was opposed to the alliance and joined the BJP shows you that it has collapsed.
And nationally, sir, how do you look at the India bloc? This, different regional parties coming
I'll tell
together.
you something. I was taking the India bloc or the Ghamindia alliance, which as I like to call it, very seriously about 3 months ago. Because I thought that they would actually sit down amongst themselves and work out a common program, some seat sharing, but they were not able to do it. And as a result of what has happened is that the TMC is on its own trip. The left, which is an ally of the Congress party, is fighting the Congress on certain seats. And I make a prediction to you, Mr. Gandhi is going to lose both Wayanad and Raebareli.
Even Raebareli?
Even Raebareli, yeah.
So, the Prime Minister, the elections are on. The results will be out on June 4th. But, the government has already started working on the next 100 days, the big plans.
Because elections are free exercise of democratic choice. But, you can read the signals. Therefore, it would have been irresponsible, I think. I don't know what your views. I think it would have been very irresponsible if we had said that we'll start planning for the next phase only when we get elected. Now, I'll tell you what happened in 2014. The Prime Minister assumed responsibility in May, and it was only on 15th June that most of our programs, like schemes like Smart Cities Mission, Swachh Bharat Mission, and all of them started, which meant that we lost from, was it 14th May that the government came into being, to about 15th June. 1 month we lost. This time we are not losing any money, any time. In 2019, it didn't matter because we were in a transition kind of a phase. We were ending the first term, coming in second one. But after 10 years now, many of our schemes need to be revised. In 2019, the Swachh Bharat mission was going on. The Smart Cities mission was going on. Now they're all nearing completion. So we need to revalidate and extend them.
So, but there's this growing, there's this impression that, a lot of negativity has crept into the campaign, after the 4th phase. So, how do you see it as in?
No, negativity is kept into the campaign entirely because the people who don't have anything worthwhile to say will go on derailing it and creating false narratives. I saw an interview which the Honorable Prime Minister gave to the India Today group, and he brought it out very beautifully as to why he is saying something. We have always said that we are for reservation. But they doctored a clip of the Home Minister and tried to produce a false narrative. And then it came out that they want to actually take the benefits of reservation away from the SC, ST, OBC and give it to a particular minority community. Now, if that happens, then Prime Minister says, I am compelled to, because I have to, look at the overall interests of the country. We, the Constituent Assembly, when it met, and I've read those reports, those proceedings, for a variety of reasons. One is my father-in-law was the lawyer attached to Dr. Ambedkar, and I read it because he wanted me to read them. But for other reasons, they were against religious reservations per se. That was the basis on which the country split. That's why we didn't want that. And therefore, see where we have reached as a country. So some misguided politicians will come here and that one guy gets on caste censors. But tell me, I want to ask you a question, and through you, through your leaders, what is their view on, beating up women? I find Akhilesh Yadav is very quiet, but he's the same Akhilesh Yadav where his party people say some girls had got gang raped. He said boys will be boys. I see Priyanka Vadra has spoken up for Swati Maliwal. But shouldn't all these people take up the cause? It's not a question of whether the person is from the Aam Aadmi Party or the Print magazine or the Wall Street Journal. If some atrocity is committed against a woman in the residence of the Chief Minister, what security and ethics are we talking about? And then Mr. Sanjay Singh says, yes, there was misbehavior. Okay, there was misbehavior. I thought by misbehavior that, you trespassed into somebody's room, said, why are you doing here? Why have you come here? No, she is given now a statement, which is an FIR, saying that she was physically assaulted, slapped 6 or 7 times, beaten in the chest, lower body, and she said she had severe pain. She went to AIIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, for a checkup. So this is a very serious thing. I think the 2 things which will stand out in the Aam Aadmi Party is Liquorgate, and the other is physical assault on women. I think the Aam Aadmi Party story is over.
With this, we come to the end of this interview. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.